That got me more ink than anything.
Okay, let's roll right into our post-race. We're going to hear from team owner Roger Penske and crew chief Paul Wolfe. A very exciting win here today for the number 2 Miller Lite Ford for Penske's racing team, and winning that 17th annual Kobalt 400 here today at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Paul Wolfe, I'm going to ask you a question first. Just talk about the drama unfolding there the last 40 or 50 laps when obviously the way that the new system is in place, winning is a premium, and yet if you have a win, as Dale Jr. did, you can kind of roll the dice. But certainly created a lot of drama and excitement down there. What was going through your all's minds, and where did you all stand with fuel?
Well, obviously, when we pitted there at the end when the 99 and 88 stayed out, we knew we were plenty to the good. Didn't figure there was any way they could make it, but wasn't sure yet where they were fuel mileage-wise. So as the race started rolling on there, that last run, we started calculating the numbers and trying to understand where they were at. We kind of knew where the 99 was. Obviously, with Roush 8's engines, we know we're all pretty close there, so we had an idea he couldn't make it. But the 88, we weren't sure. That was why at one point there, and once I knew the 88 was a little short, I told Brad he needed to do what he could to get around the 99 to start putting pressure on the 88, because if we didn't, he only needed a half a lap. It's about what he ran out. So being able to get around the 99, put pressure on the 88 to run wide open was, I think, a key. And I think Brad's determination, you saw it wasn't a lap or two, and he was able to get around that 99 and start putting the pressure on. So I think that was very important. Overall, very pleased. It was a great effort today. We were on a little different strategy from time to time with everybody, but the things that have made the two teams successful over the last few years is being aggressive, and we're going to be aggressive this year, and that's what we did today, and paid off for a big win for us. And just got to continue to work hard. This new rules package, there's been a lot of work done over the off season. There's been plenty of days when Brad's come into my office and bugged me if we were working hard enough or if we needed to be testing or what, and I just told him, just hang in there. We're working hard, and obviously we've shown everyone at Team Penske's done a great job so far, but the key is continue to build on that and find ways to be better, because it'll only be time, and everyone will figure out this new rules package and will be a lot stronger.
Thank you, Paul. And Roger, it's been a heck of a week for you. Brad sweeps the weekend here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Somebody told us that you had a hole-in-one. And then you win this race here today at Las Vegas and get that number 2 car in prime position to get in the chase this year. So just talk about the significance of everything that's gone on the last few days, and then getting this win today, what that means to Team Penske.
Well, first, obviously the call that Paul made, as he said, we're going to take a few chances. We knew we had a fast car, and you could see in clear air how good the car was. But at the end, the call with Junior, obviously, he had a great car. I've never seen him drive better, and it was going to be a real gunfight if we had to run with him that last part of the last lap. But, again, Paul said, hey, he's probably a lap short. Let's push him. He got by the 99, as he said earlier, and that made a difference. But to me, the team has just done a great job. Off-season, the commitment. The Ford motors obviously are strong. We've seen the reliability so far this season. You saw it nationwide yesterday. The polls, the first 2 weekends, really have made a huge difference. Joey's stepped up now, and we really have 2 great drivers, not only for today but long term when you look at our team and the average age. So to me, it was a rewarding weekend, realizing that the way the rules are, to have a driver that has won a race, and that really almost qualifies him, I think, for the chase, especially after the tough year he had last year. People might have counted him out, but again, I think he's focused. You could see his driving, and to me, we got 2 great drivers. As far as the hole-in-one, I never knew I'd get so much publicity on hole-in-one. I told somebody about it, and the next minute they're asking me where, and just to tell her it was at Augusta. So, I was, very fortunate to be a member there, and, we know we lost William Clay Ford today, a patriarch, the Ford family, someone obviously that has meant so much to Detroit, the automobile business. on a worldwide basis, and certainly to the big three, and I take my hat off and my thoughts and prayers at his family. But is it ironic he and I joined Augusta at the same time back many years ago, and to think today we won this race? So, I'm going to give this race to William Clay Ford.
What hole was that over there at Augusta, Roger?
It was on the par 3. It was 150-yard number 4.
Number 4. Congratulations, and congratulations on this win here today. We'll take questions now for Roger or Paul. We'll start right here with Lee, then we'll go to Jeff, and then to Kenny.
Lee Spencer, for the both of you, Brad missing the chase last year, what kind of a learning experience was that for him? Or, would you consider it a wake-up call or just a combination of the two?
Well, Lee, I think that, obviously there are a lot of things changed last year. A new manufacturer, new motors, new reliability. We had to get our cars right. We had some reliability problems from a heating situation, which, I'd have to say was ours. But, it was tough. And, we got wrecked a couple times. It didn't help us. And I think Brad matured. I think you've seen his MO this year. He's certainly focused. And, you have to have a little bit of diversity before you get better, and I think that's what happened to Brad Keselowski.
Let's go to Jeff, and then we'll go to Kenny.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. Paul, Dale Jr. was saying that Brad has a tendency to overthink everything, and some of his ideas may work, some of them don't. How much more did he start overthinking or bugging you with some of the stuff that he was coming into your office for after missing the chase than before?
I mean, that's just Brad's style. That's why we love him. I mean, he's dedicated. He wants to be the best out there, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to do that. Sometimes it can wear you down. There's no doubt about that. And like I said, he was on me hard over the off season, but I know that he's just passionate about the sport and being the best. And you think about the times when you do get frustrated. I think this is probably a better situation than a guy that doesn't show up at the shop and doesn't understand what's going on. So I'm willing to deal with that sometimes. And as a group, I think over the off season, all the guys on the team, we've sat down as a group individually, tried to understand where everyone was at, what we felt like we needed to do to be better. And I feel like the group's working really well now. We've shown that the first 3 weeks. And obviously this win here, I think, helps give everybody a little confidence to know that, we can get back on top where we want to be and where we were in 2012. So a lot of hard work ahead of us, but a huge win today.
Go ahead, Kenny, and then we'll go over to Lewis. Kenny?
Yeah, Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. For both you gentlemen, is it any more difficult to field two teams that can contend each week than it is one? And also, how closely do the two teams work together? Roger, you've had a number of different drivers in the seats. Do these guys work closer than anybody you've had?
Well, I'd say, I go back to, probably Rusty, where we really had some continuity with Ryan when we were, really running well. But I think today the combination of Joey and Brad is super. When you look at their age, they're talking every day. Last night they were going over the changes on their cars. But even more important, I think Todd Gordon and Paul have really bonded together. In fact, really what pulled us together might have been our issue at Texas last year, when we all had to pull together to say, hey, we're going to move forward out of this. And to me, that's kind of set the stage. But, Travis Geisler and really when you look at Mike Nelson, we're one group. The cars are the same. You can see how well they run. They're qualifying very close together. And I think it's an open book. And to me, that makes the difference. So I'm thrilled with, where we are. And I think we've got a great runway for us long term.
Lewis?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
Sorry. I don't disagree. I mean, I don't know for sure what goes on at other teams, but from the guys I talk to and know, I feel like probably the 2 and 22 probably work more closely than anyone in the garage. And I think, like the boss said, that's why you see the cars qualifying on the front row together, why we run well when one runs well. And that's key. With only having two cars, we need to work closely together. When one runs good, the other runs good, and vice versa. And that's important to be able to move forward. As tough as this sport is to be able to have someone to lean on if you're having a bad day or you're off a little bit. You know, when these cars are built back at the shop, they're all built the same. You could take a 22 or a 2 and just change the paint scheme on it and bring it to the racetrack. And I don't think there's many teams that can say that. So I think that's a big reason for a lot of success we've had. And we'll continue to work that way moving forward and hopefully continue the success.
Lewis?
Yeah, Louis Frank of Reuters and Auto Week. Paul, as an outsider, it appears to me back in 2012, you were able to take some pretty big swings, risks. How do the new rules, you know, do you feel kind of freedom this year now to take those same kind of risks?
Well, I think there's opportunity there. I've said this before. With all the new rules packages and changes, there's opportunity. And we like opportunities, and you got to work hard and make the most of them. And I'm just proud so far we've been able to do that. And it'll take a lot of work to stay where we're at. But I think everyone on this team's committed to do that, and we'll just keep going.
Before we get this other gentleman's question, let's hear from our race winner, Brad Keselowski, driver of the number 2 Miller Lite Ford for Team Penske. Brad, congratulations on a great weekend and certainly the win here today. You know, get you in that position now to get in the chase, and that's got to feel good. And just talk about the significance of that and the, you know, just how this team is really, really coming together right now.
Well, thank you, Kerry. It's great to be here. You know, I've seen a few of you before, some a little too soon ago, but I'm glad to see you again, and glad to be back here in Victory Lane. It's very special to get a win early in the year when it's just such a reliever for everyone on the team, and myself included, to get that win in early and be able to enjoy the races and opportunities that we have instead of being stressed out about them. And, you know, I think if anything, it actually lends itself to better racing. That chance that Dale and Stevie took with the 88 car was way out there, and it was a good risky move on their part because they had nothing to lose because of this format. So, you know, I think that shows some of the opportunities that, you know, come up and how they can be stress-free days, and I'm looking forward to being able to take those same opportunities because, believe me, I'm not scared to take them, and I know Paul's not, so look out. But it's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's go to this gentleman right here, and then we'll go to Michael and then to Mark. Go ahead, sir.
Joe Spano, Sports Byline Broadcast Network. I'll put this out to all three of you. You guys got on a different pit schedule mid-portion of this race. You were running on some old tires compared to the leaders who were running on new rubber, and you didn't lose track position. How much of a surprise was that to you guys, and how much of a key was it at the back end of the race in allowing you to win this race?
Well, I mean, it wasn't really a big surprise. We kind of knew where the tires were at and how they hold up. I mean, that's part of the strategy. By no means would we have stayed out if we didn't feel like our car was good enough where the tires would hold on. So, you know, the biggest gamble there was just the fuel window. And like I said before, we're the things that have made us successful is being aggressive, and we're back and we're going to be aggressive.
Let's go to Michael, and then we'll go to Mark.
Brad, question about driving the car, you know, in traffic. Dale said that, you know, when he was back there it was tough, but once he got into clean air it was like driving a Cadillac. Joey talked about how loose he was in traffic, so wanted to ask you about your experience with that. Do you think the new rules package played into any of that? And then Paul, you missed last weekend, and you're in Victory Lane this weekend, so any temptation to skip another race?
Yeah, Paul, what are you thinking? I'd like to hear the answer to that one too. Why don't you go first?
Yeah, I don't know about skipping any races. It was a big week for me last week, and something very special that you can't compare to a race win. It's a total different feeling. I'm fortunate to have a great family that supports me, and I'm fortunate to have a great company like Team Penske behind me to know that I could leave the racetrack for such a special day for me, and we could still go out there and run like we did, and that's just a testament to everyone on this team and all the hard work we put in. So not planning on taking any more days off, though. It was tough to watch that one on TV for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the common theme throughout American motorsports. The cars continue to get harder and harder to drive in traffic as they make more downforce, and as the you know, engineers and all those guys continue to really hone in on these cars and find ways to make them create more downforce, and that's just it's something that's happening through all of motorsports, not just NASCAR. You're seeing the same thing in F1 and beyond. It's making it very difficult to drive the cars in traffic, and it makes the cars very easy to drive by themselves. So it's just part of the evolution of racing, and maybe not necessarily what we want to see happen from a fan perspective, but it's just where the competitors are taking the racing. So we'll see where that goes from here.
Go ahead, Mark.
Mark Anderson, Las Vegas Journal. Paul said that when you realized what Dale's gas situation is like, you really need to get past the 99. Did you feel like once you did that, especially if you drove Dale hard, it was just a matter of time before you ran out and you caught him?
Yeah, passing the 99 was a huge moment for us. That gave us an opportunity to really put pressure on Dale. I felt like we could run him down, and I could tell he was saving a little bit based on the lines he was running compared to where I'd seen him earlier in the day. So he was able to save a little bit, but once I ran up on him, with him not running his fastest line, he was running his fuel conserve line, and once I saw that, we ran him down, I think 10, 15 laps, whatever that was, and forced him to kind of get up into his speed line, and that was just taking fuel from his car. And once that happened, I knew we were in really good shape. It was going to play out one or two ways. He was going to have to get in the fuel conservation mode, and I think I could have passed him and drove away, or he was going to have to burn fuel to keep me behind him. And at that point, it was just a matter of whether a yellow came out or not, because it's just a ticking time bomb, and it worked in our favor today.
Right here. Tom? No, right here. No. Oh, sorry.
Brad, for yesterday, you were describing the chase with chasing down Kyle and holding off Kyle rather, and making sure that you compared it to a game of Tetris. What was with the roles reversed today? How was it different?
Yesterday was more about lap traffic and dealing through that. Today, lap traffic played a little bit of role, but not a significant role. That one lap, I was able to get underneath Dale, 1 and 2 here. I can't remember what lap that was. I'd gotten a little bit of help in traffic, which was, huge for us to be able to put pressure on him, and certainly, not good for Dale, but those things considered, it was definitely different being the hunter instead of the hunted, and I had fun with it both days. So.
Lewis, and then Marty Smith, and then Jim Utter.
Brad, this is Louis Frank of Auto Week and Reuters. Dale was in here earlier saying when you drove for him, you had so many questions, comments, and suggestions, some of them good. Pops Yuri kicked you out of the shop. I was wondering, could you tell us an incident and how you and Paul?
I don't remember back that far, but I know Paul's kicked me out a few times, and I think Roger's given me a couple, sideways looks. But that's part of it. It's you find one that sticks every once in a while, and that's part of the fun of the sport. I love doing things that no one's done before, and that's a lot of fun for me, whether it's sending out a tweet during the middle of the Daytona 500 or trying to move on the racetrack to win a race. Those moments to me are a lot of fun, and probably the funnest moments in racing when you've done something no one else has done, because they're a significant accomplishment that no one else can really own. And we've done a few of them there, and I know we got a few more to come, but they come from all those crazy ideas, so every once in a while there's a good one.
Go ahead, Marty.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Brad, certainly people that make it to an optimum level professionally have to have people that help them along the way. The guy sitting to your left, certainly one of those for you, but the guy you beat today, another one. I wonder if when you're trying to mow him down, if any of those thoughts enter your head, like, I am going to get to race for a win with this guy. You said before, that garage door almost closed on you. Mm-hmm. He gave you a chance. Do any of those thoughts enter your mind during that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Today, when I was thinking about it, my thought was, well, he's already won a race, so he's got nothing to worry about. That was kind of what I was thinking, and I'd have damn near wrecked him if I had to with that in mind. But you know, it's part of the deal, and I've had a lot of fun racing with Dale over the years. This is the first time that I can recall really racing that close for the win at the end. You know, Daytona this year, we restarted side by side on the green, white checkered, but I wasn't really there. I wasn't there when it counted, and here we were there when it counted, right? And racing like that is just, that's what you live for as a driver, at least I do. Those moments where you're side by side and you lay it all out on the racetrack and bring back the car with the tires smoking, the engine smoking, and you know you're worn out inside because you gave it all you had. And it was one of those races there at the end, and for it to be one of those races against someone who's provided me such a tremendous opportunity those years back, it definitely is something that I cherish even more.
Up here to Jim.
Jim Undershaw, Observer for Roger. During the media tour in the off season, you were very high on the changes to the chase format and the knockout qualifying. Aside from the fact that your teams have been very successful so far through the first 3 weeks, do you see them benefiting? Do you see a benefit? Do you see some changes that have been good for the sport?
Well, there's no question that the qualifying sessions, we had 3 here this weekend, lots of strategy. It's right down to the, one last lap in that third session has made a huge difference than just sitting watching one car go by for an hour and a half while they're qualifying. So I think that point number one, they got to check in the box. It's all about winning now, and I think the wins are so important. And once you get in that position that you've won a race, and it gives you a real good chance to be in this chase. It allows you to make your car better, as Brad said, maybe take some chances where we might not do things we do otherwise to get us better for that last run. So to me, it's interesting. We talk about teams in the NFL who might have an 8-8 record but end up in the Super Bowl and win. So I've seen a lot of talk about what can happen, and I think it's interest to the fans. And from my understanding is there's been a lot of positives about the change. I'm certainly 100% for it, 150% obviously, and maybe today 200 because we're in the show, and the polls certainly haven't hurt us. And I can tell you this, that our sponsors, and we have some of the best in the business, are very pro what they see here, not only for our team but also for the sport.
Let's go to a man from Albuquerque and then to Mike.
David Swope of the New Mexico Motorsports Report on ESPN Radio 101.7, the team Albuquerque. Mr. Penske, I was curious, now that you've got the one victory in Sprint Cup, how's things coming in the open wheel program with Juan Pablo Montoya?
Well, listen, we're excited. Juan has lost about 25 pounds, so he looks like a track star now. The one thing we know about Juan, he tells it as it is. And, he's done a great job. We had a real good test at Sebring. Probably his best run here was in this past week. And to me, he's made great progress. Obviously, when we all line up, we'll find out. But, he's a racer. We've had a lot of interest, in the team. Sponsors have come to us now. And I'd say good move for him. And we think it's going to be a great opportunity for the sport as we go forward. So it's been an excellent move for us.
Let's go over here to Mike, and then I think Jeff had another question. Go ahead, Mike.
Mike Hembry, USA Today. Roger, now that you essentially have a car in the chase, does that at all change your perspective or your approach with the other team as far as getting the 22 in, any resource changes, whatever?
Well, we're not allowed to help each other. We learned that, didn't we, at Richmond? Right. So we're going to exchange all the information we can, between the two teams, as Paul talked about earlier, and we said we're really operating as one organization. In fact, when the cars come out of the paint shop, we really don't know which car they're going to be until put the decals on. So to me, we're going to stay consistent. Joey and Brad have built a great relationship, and believe me, the way he ran today came from the back there, was strong right at the end. I think we're going to see him in victory lane too. So that's our goal right now, to do whatever it takes, get him a victory.
Let's go to Jeff Gluck.
Brad, I know you never lack for motivation when it comes to competition, but what happened last year, winning the championship and then missing the chase, and then having some people kind of openly seem to enjoy your momentary downfall, I guess. That had to leave somewhat of a chip on your shoulder or piss you off. I mean, how much did what happened last year bother you as far as the perception? Did that add more fuel to your fire than before?
Well, I mean, it's not fun, that's for sure. For me, I wouldn't say I let the negative comments motivate me too much. I was motivated the whole time. I didn't really need any extra motivation. But I found, I guess my happy place with looking at a guy like Tony Stewart, who I still consider to be one of the best race car drivers out there, and probably one of the best of all time. And you look at him, and he won his first championship. I think it was 2002, and his next in was it 05 or 06, I can't remember. And then another one in 2011. And when you look at that, there's 3, 5, 6 years, whatever in between those. And when you look at those championships, and I think he showcases how sometimes things work in cycles. The sports world works in cycles. And we didn't have the year we wanted to have last year. I'm not afraid to admit that, and I'm definitely not going to hide from it. But we also have to be realists and know that a lot of things have to come together to win. The team has to be perfect. I have to be perfect, and a little bit of racing luck has to be going your way. And I don't think we hit either one of those three last year, but we weren't far off. I didn't one of those three. So with that in mind, you got to just move on and realize that that's part of the cycles. Fix what you can fix. And we certainly have done a lot to address issues where we're not the best we could be. And I have personally, the team has, and obviously a little bit of racing luck today went our way. Somebody asked me here before the race, last year we started off with, I can't remember, it was a third, or fourth, a third, and a third, something like that, and a second. But we didn't get a win. And any one of those first 5 or 6 races we could have easily won, but we just didn't get any racing luck. And then in the middle of the year we had every bad racing break, and today we caught a little bit of racing luck, and we were in position to make the most of it. You can catch racing luck and be running 10th, and it doesn't really mean anything. But when you're running in the top 2 or 3, like we have been over the last few weeks, you catch a little small break, and you're there to exploit it and get a win. And sometimes you catch breaks, sometimes you make them happen, but today we were in a spot either way to capitalize on it. And like I said, kind of viewing that in that holistic approach with all those things in mind, I think I was able to move on, and I'm still able to move on. And a win today just kind of solidifies our position moving forward.
Other questions? All the way back in the back, and then we'll go to Greg Beecham.
Hi, Dominic Aragón with the RacingExperts.com. So for Brad, now that you've won a race and have virtually locked yourself into the chase, what are some other short-term goals before you reach the playoffs in September for your race team?
I want to win Indy. That'd be big. The captain here, yeah, that'd be a really big win, and Michigan would be a really big win. I'd take Bristol and California while I'm at. I mean, but there's a lot of important. We just want to get some more wins, and then obviously you got to get on steady footing once you reach the back half of the year with your cars and team to where you're just consistent front runners, so you can really get into those last 10 races and make some noise. So that's important to us as well.
Let's go right here to Greg.
Greg Beecham with the AP. Roger, what's your understanding on the reason that NASCAR took the right rear shock from the 22 yesterday?
The information I have is they checked the pressure, and they said after the race it was, and I checked it this morning, was 7 or 8 pounds more pressure in it. So they're looking at it. We showed our gauge was probably 10 pounds less than that when they did it yesterday. That's the information I have today. But obviously it's a minor issue.
Right there. Go ahead, sir.
Mark DeBello, DPC. This is Vegas. This is for Mr. Penske and Brad. The probability experts at NFLESP.com said the odds of you winning today, Brad, at 7-1. The odds of any driver winning a doubleheader at 50-1, and the odds of you winning a doubleheader at 500-1. Coming into the weekend, you and Mr. Penske.
Did you put any money on it?
No,
Yeah, I
no, I
wish I
wouldn't be
did
sitting
too.
here. What did you
can't,
think
but I
your
wish I
chances?
did.
What did you think your chances are numerically and thought-wise coming into this weekend that you'd have such a weekend?
I mean, at Team Penske, we know we're going to have great cars, and we know we're going to have a great effort in winning, almost on any weekend. So it's hard to pick one particular weekend and feel better or worse than others. But then you look at some of our track history here at Las Vegas, and it hasn't been all that great. I can remember running a couple races here. I was thinking back to my first start here in 2009 before I was driving for Roger, when I was driving for Rick. And I think it was my third race ever in the Cup Series. And I remember Rick Hendrick walking up to me and he said, just run a whole race and don't wreck, and you'll have a good day. And I made it all the way to turn 3 and 4 on the first lap and wrecked. And, I had made the choice that day or that weekend to stay after with Dale Jr. After we spent the week here in Vegas afterwards. And he never invited me to do that again because I was sore and mad and didn't have any fun and didn't party or hang out at all. I was so bitter about that weekend. So, you look at it from that perspective and say, I don't have a great track record here at Las Vegas, but we sure did make it look a lot better today. And I'm sure there's other tracks that we can hopefully do the same this year.
Any additional questions? Well, Brad, Roger, Paul, congratulations on a big win here today at Las Vegas, and good luck next weekend at Bristol.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Good job there, Brad.
I got people following on Twitter, too. They send me tweets while I'm on here. Yeah, the people that are watching on NASCAR.com. Thank you.
Yeah.